I remember that when I weighed 245 pounds, and Bob Rafelson, the director of Stay Hungry, said to me that I'm interested in having you in a movie. And then he said, but I don't want you to weigh more than 210 pounds. So I said to him, well, it's funny you come to me and you want me to be in a movie, but I'm weighing 245, 246. But he demanded that. And he says, look, it's very simple. On the day we start shooting, he says, I'm going to put you on a scale. And if you don't make the 210, you're out. I worked on it. I started visualizing myself very clearly as a lean athlete, because that's the only way I could lose that weight and all of a sudden get interested in running more. Because up until that point, I ran like 3 miles after training or before training or whatever. But now all of a sudden it was 5 miles, 6 miles, 7 miles, 8 miles in order to lose the weight. And I did everything with high reps. And I was watching my diet, what I eat and all those kind of things. And the day before, with Bob Rafelson, he says, let's step on a scale. And I stepped on the scale and I weighed 209. So it just shows you what is possible if you visualize exactly what you want to look like. So it can go one way, which is that you can lose weight and get trim and get slim and everything, get the abs out and all this. Or you go the other way and you gain weight because you see yourself big and you see yourself as a winner of a Mr. Olympia or something like that. This is why I always recommend to people, sit down, take your time, and start thinking about why do you want to work out? And it can be as crazy as it is. It could be, I want to impress girls. If that's your goal, so be it, but it motivates you. It could be that you're emulating a certain, bodybuilder. Have those pictures put all over the wall like I did when I was a kid, so that every day when I go to sleep, every day when I wake up, I look at those pictures and they motivate me. You need that motivation, and then therefore you have this kind of imprint in front of you all the time, and you know exactly what you're chasing. This is why I always smiled when I was in the gym. People always came up to me and says, why are you smiling? You're working out 5 hours a day. You're doing the same as the other guys, but the other guys have a sour face. They're pissed off that they have to do another rep or another set or something. I looked forward to. Why? Because I knew that every rep that I did and every set that I did and more weights that I lifted, I get one step closer to turning that vision into reality.
It's getting closer and closer. Incredible satisfaction.
But the day has 24 hours and we sleep 6. Now I know there's some out there that say, whoa, I need 8. Well, I say just sleep a little faster. Because the bottom line is we have 24 hours are available, 6 hours of sleep, so you have 18 hours now available to your work, your family, your hobbies, and also to learn something new. Or you say, I'm gonna go and reshape my body. So you're gonna go and take this hour out of your schedule and say, I'm gonna train an hour every day. So this is for most people a huge challenge, but it is totally doable, I can tell them, because the kind of things that I did when I came to this country. I mean, I went to school, I was working in construction, I was working out my 5 hours a day. I was taking acting classes from 8 o'clock at night to 12 midnight. I was doing all of those things. I think the biggest mistake is that you go to the gym and you go through the motion, but you don't really have your mind inside the muscle. I've seen the guys training with me also 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day, but they look like shit. And why did they look like shit is because they didn't concentrate. Kind of like they were bored. Because they didn't even know why they were training. That they were not inside the bicep. I tell you, you got to be inside the muscle. This is why when I see guys texting, they're not serious. You train or you don't. If you do something, then do it. Go all out. Every legacy is different, but every legacy can be great. My dream was to leave a mark in bodybuilding, to become a champion who would always be remembered. It took sweat, it took sacrifice and pain, but ultimately it led to triumph. Your dream may be different, but I can show you the blueprint to a physique that you never thought was possible. For me, the most important thing always to have a deadline. When I, for instance, had a competition, and let's say the competition was in the middle of September, and it was now beginning of summer, so there was no more time to screw around. So there was the time now to get going on a diet, to get going with the training, to not slack off at all, because there was a deadline there. The day of the competition, I had to be in the best shape possible. It was very important to pick that time and to say, this is when I have to be in top shape, and then to work towards that. But it's not just with the competition. It could also be that you say to yourself, the summer starts in June. I'm gonna go to the beach in June, and at that time, I want to be in great shape. So that creates an urgency that makes you really start training hard and taking it seriously. Because if you don't have a specific plan, then you wander around. I mean, you can have the best ship or the best plane in the world, but if you don't have a specific goal where you want to go and when you want to get there, you just drift around and you never get anywhere.
I feel the best right here in this area. Okay.
Outer head of the bicep.
Now don't freak out when you see these biceps. Okay, I know it's the best you
I
ever seen,
control
but
myself.
oh, please do
I
so.
don't let me concentrate.
Okay. Joe keeps saying we should concentrate, and I was concentrating to flex my biceps. I did concentrate.
Okay.
But the worst thing is that if you lose a competition or if you're not quite reaching your goal because you didn't do everything that you could do. And this is why I say to people, I said, think about that twice, before you grab something else. Stay on your diet, stay focused, and when you have that question, and if you're about to eat and cheat, think about what the goal is. And does this screw up now, or this need to having some fattening food, is this gonna help you? But it's not just with the competition. It could also be that you say to yourself, the summer starts in June. I'm gonna go to the beach in June, and at that time, I want to be in great shape. So that creates an urgency that makes you really start training hard and taking it seriously. I never felt sorry for myself, let me tell you, that it all paid off. Well, for me, the most important thing always to have a deadline. When I, for instance, had a competition, and let's say the competition was in the middle of September, and it was now beginning of summer, so there was no more time to screw around. So there was the time now to get going on a diet, to get going with the training, to not slack off at all, because there was a deadline there. The day of the competition, I had to be in the best shape possible. It was very important to pick that time and to say, this is when I have to be in top shape, and then to work towards that. I wanted to make sure that I don't waste one single hour. Don't give me this thing, I have a difficult time with the time and I don't have time for this and I don't have that. You have time, you make the time. When the President of the United States has time to work out, when the Pope has time to work out, then you have time to work out.
One of the things that you made popular was the supersets and tri-setting, and surprisingly enough, there's a lot of kids in the gym nowadays that don't even do those things. So what makes the difference in the workout when you add those variables? I mean, it makes the pump completely different, correct?
Well, it makes the pump completely different, but it also the muscle responds differently if you do a pushing exercise and a pulling exercise. Let's say, for instance, with bench press and with chin-ups. So it worked much better when we did a set of bench press, and immediately after that went to the chin-up bar and did a set of chin-ups. You get more definition and muscle separation by doing that. So it really worked well. And sometimes we even not just did a superset, but we did 3-4 sets. Because remember, the body doesn't really respond to the same thing over and over. But you got to always give it the extra punch. So I think supersets and triple sets and quadruple sets and all of those kind of things create that kind of extra fire in the muscle.